Every life is a canvas painted by invisible laws. Nothing happens by chance. All is governed by divine order. When the universe is in harmony, your affairs mirror that perfection. But when confusion, doubt, and fear take the brush, the picture blurs, and the flow of supply seems delayed. The key is not to chase money, but to align yourself with the principle of order. For when you are in tune with the infinite, prosperity rushes in as naturally as the tide to the shore. There is a spiritual mathematics behind every blessing. The universe operates with precision, and money is but a symbol, a reflection of your inner state of order. When your thoughts are scattered, your finances will be scattered. When your emotions are tangled, your affairs will tangle themselves into knots. But when your mind is clear, your purpose firm, and your faith unwavering, the divine supply cannot help but appear, quickly, beautifully, and often before you expect it. Before Sunday, yes, before the close of this very week, you may see the evidence of a miracle if you bring divine order into your thinking now. Speak to the universe as one who commands, not as one who begs. Declare, I am in perfect harmony with the divine order of my life. Every avenue of supply is open, every plan is guided by infinite intelligence. Nothing can delay what belongs to me by right of divine alignment. You must first prepare the inner temple before the outer blessings arrive. Cleanse the mind of complaint, of worry, of resentment. Those are thieves that rob the treasury of your consciousness. Replace them with gratitude. Gratitude that the universe is already arranging your affairs even now. When gratitude reigns, order is restored, and where order is, money flows easily, swiftly, joyfully. Do not look at appearances. Appearances are the mirage that fades before the dawn of truth. The divine law does not depend on bank accounts, employers, or clients. It depends only on your vibration of faith. When you speak words of confidence and expectancy, you move unseen forces to act on your behalf. Invisible helpers go before you, smoothing every path, arranging every detail. By the time Sunday comes, you may find that doors have opened that were once closed, that funds have arrived from unexpected places, that peace has replaced anxiety. So set your house in order, not just your dwelling, but your mental house, your emotional house, your spiritual house. Let every thought be a guest worthy of divine company. Let every word you speak affirm abundance, beauty, and divine right action. When you live by this law of order, money ceases to be something you chase. It becomes something that chases you. The universe loves order, and order loves speed. Align yourself today, and by Sunday you may stand amazed at the ease with which the flow begins. The moment you place everything under divine law, the universe rushes to fulfill its part. The current of prosperity is always waiting. It only needs you to command, "Let there be order," and it will answer, "Let there be flow." To align with divine order before seeking material flow is to understand that the universe operates according to spiritual law, not human effort alone. Every event, every opportunity, every form of supply is an outpicturing of an unseen pattern, a reflection of your inner state of consciousness. When you try to gather wealth, success, or recognition without first aligning yourself with that higher harmony, you are like someone planting seeds in disordered soil. The soil may be rich, but without preparation it cannot yield a harvest. The first work, therefore, is always within, to bring thought, emotion, and intention into alignment with divine order, for when that is done, the outer world rearranges itself to match. Divine order is the silent architecture of life. It governs the orbits of planets, the tides of the sea, the rhythm of your heartbeat. It is not chaos that holds the world together, but perfect law. To align with this law means to think and act from the center of calm authority, knowing that nothing can truly be lost, delayed, or denied when the mind is in harmony with divine intelligence. When you recognize that every area of your life has a right pattern, a perfect design waiting to be revealed, you stop struggling and begin cooperating with the flow of the infinite. The mistake many people make is to reverse this law. They strive first for results, they grasp for money, they worry about how to make things happen, all while ignoring the inner disorder that repels their good. When the mind is filled with doubt, fear, resentment, or hurry, the universe mirrors that confusion back in experience. Delays appear, opportunities slip away, and the flow of abundance becomes clogged, not because the universe withholds, but because consciousness is misaligned. Just as a crooked mirror distorts an image, a disorderly mind distorts the flow of prosperity. The answer is not more struggle, but more alignment, restoring the clear channel between the self and divine law. To align with divine order, one must first acknowledge that there is a power greater than personal effort, a wisdom that knows the right time, place, and method for every manifestation. When you align with this wisdom, you move from anxiety to assurance, from force to flow. You begin to trust that everything you need is already prepared for you in the invisible, awaiting your recognition. The law cannot bring confusion to an ordered mind. It must bring balance, beauty, and supply. The outer is always the servant of the inner. Therefore, if you want money to flow, you must first order your thoughts about it. This means releasing every false belief that money is scarce, hard to get, or dependent upon chance. Divine order knows no shortage. It is the abundance principle in motion. Money is not a master, but a messenger. It obeys the tone of your consciousness. If you are anxious, you command lack. If you are peaceful, you command supply. The moment you declare that the universe is orderly, fair, and generous, your vibration aligns with that truth, and the channels of material flow open naturally. To live in divine order requires discipline of thought. You cannot hold contradictory beliefs and expect harmony. Every thought must support your faith in divine supply, not weaken it. This means replacing doubt with affirmation, fear with trust, complaint with gratitude. The mind is a workshop, and what you build in it becomes your reality. If you allow confusion to remain, the blueprint of your prosperity will be unclear. But when you think in divine sequence, knowing that right ideas produce right results, the pattern of your success becomes certain. Imagine your life as a great symphony. Each thought, word, and action is a note. When played in harmony with divine order, the melody is beautiful, and others can hear the rhythm of abundance in you. But when thoughts are discordant, when you allow worry to take the lead or impatience to set the tempo, the music becomes harsh and confused. To realign, you need only return to the inner conductor, that still voice of truth which whispers, "All is well. All is unfolding as it should. Order is established now." From that calm center, every external situation begins to rearrange itself in your favor. This alignment is not a single act but a continual practice. You cannot touch divine order once and expect perpetual flow if you later return to disorderly thinking. Just as a musician must tune their instrument before every performance, you must tune your consciousness daily to the key of divine order. Begin your morning by affirming that all things are working together for your highest good. See your day as perfectly arranged by the intelligence of the universe. Refuse to be disturbed by delays or appearances of lack, for these are only illusions, temporary shadows cast by forgotten faith. When you hold to order, even the unexpected serves you. A missed opportunity may redirect you towards something better. A delay may conceal a protection. A closed door may prevent you from walking into confusion. Divine order is never against you. It is always arranging, refining, and aligning your path for perfect timing. When you see life this way, anxiety dissolves. You no longer chase after results, you become magnetic to them. The universe loves precision, and when you move in harmony with its rhythm, prosperity cannot help but come. To align with divine order also means simplifying your life. Clutter, whether mental, emotional, or physical, is the enemy of flow. You cannot expect the universe to bring clarity when your environment and thoughts are crowded with chaos. Order your surroundings, and you send a signal that you are ready to receive. Pay your bills with gratitude, for each payment declares that you have been supplied. Organize your plans, but surrender their outcome to divine intelligence. Take inspired action, but release attachment to results. The law of order operates best through calm intention, not restless striving. When you think of money, see it as energy, not matter. It moves toward clarity, not confusion. If your intention is pure, your motives generous, and your thoughts peaceful, money becomes your servant, eager to perform its function. But if your consciousness is filled with fear or greed, money hesitates. For divine law cannot flow through disorder. Aligning with divine order means removing resistance, every thought of separation, every belief in limitation, every emotion that contradicts abundance. Once these are cleared, the flow resumes of itself. Faith is the anchor that holds you steady in alignment. Without faith, order collapses under the weight of appearances. But when you believe in divine timing, you remain unmoved, and your calm attracts the very things others struggle to obtain. The universe respects faith, because faith is trust in its perfection. To be aligned is to know that what belongs to you cannot be lost, and that what is not yours cannot stay. This confidence establishes magnetic order in your aura, drawing to you only what matches that vibration. The greatest secret of alignment is surrender, not to defeat, but to divine intelligence. You cease to dictate how prosperity must appear and allow the infinite to express it in its own way. Sometimes the path is direct, sometimes it winds through unseen corridors, but when you are aligned, every turn leads you higher. You are no longer the beggar at the gate. You are the heir walking into your inheritance. The universe cannot resist one who is in perfect order, for such a person has become a living reflection of the divine pattern itself. To align with divine order before seeking material flow is to become a conscious co-creator with the universe. It is to move from chaos to clarity, from fear to faith, from lack to limitless supply. It is to remember that before any manifestation appears in the visible, it must first be shaped in the invisible by thought and belief. You do not chase the flow, you prepare the channel. You do not plead for abundance, you align with it. When divine order reigns within, the world outside cannot help but mirror that perfection. Inner harmony reflects as outer prosperity, because the universe is a mirror that faithfully reproduces the images held in the secret chambers of the mind. Every experience in the visible world is born from an invisible cause, and that cause is consciousness. The state of your inner life, the thoughts you entertain, the emotions you nurture, the beliefs you repeat, is continually shaping your outer world. You do not live in the world as much as the world lives in you. When there is confusion within, confusion manifests without. When there is peace within, peace forms around you like a shield. Prosperity is not something you pursue. It is something you allow to emerge by maintaining inner order and serenity. To live in harmony within yourself is to be in tune with divine law. Harmony is the natural rhythm of the soul, the stillness from which all creation flows. The world around you may appear chaotic, but when your inner being is calm and balanced, you become like the eye of the storm, untouched by outer turbulence, commanding stillness by your very presence. It is from this state of centered harmony that prosperity arises. For the law of attraction responds not to desperate effort, but to the steady vibration of peace and assurance. The mind that knows its source lacks nothing, and because it knows lack is impossible, it magnetizes supply without struggle. Many people try to force prosperity into being by outer means, working harder, worrying longer, striving endlessly, yet they overlook the root. The root is always within. If the root is diseased with fear, envy, or anxiety, the fruit cannot be abundant. True prosperity begins in consciousness. When you cleanse the inner field of doubt, resentment, and limitation, the soil of the soul becomes fertile for divine increase. You begin to notice that circumstances shift subtly in your favor, that opportunities appear without strain, that what once seemed blocked begins to open of its own accord. This is not luck, but law in motion. Inner harmony is not achieved through avoidance of life, but through alignment with truth. It is not pretending everything is perfect, but perceiving that beneath all appearance of imperfection lies perfect order. When the mind accepts that truth, tension dissolves. The energy that was once wasted in resistance becomes creative power. This power draws to you ideas, people, and resources that correspond to your new frequency. Your outer prosperity is nothing more than the physical echo of this inner peace. Think of your mind as a garden. The flowers represent prosperity, health, and joy. The weeds symbolize worry, doubt, and complaint. You cannot plant weeds and expect roses. Each thought is a seed, and the soil does not discriminate. It will bring forth whatever you plant. Inner harmony means tending your garden with care, pulling out the weeds before they spread, and watering only those thoughts that bear the fragrance of abundance. As your mental garden flourishes, so will your affairs. The business will grow, the relationships will prosper, and opportunities will unfold, because the energy within you has been purified and ordered according to divine pattern. The world outside you is not separate from you. It is a projection of your consciousness. If you wake each morning in gratitude, blessing the day before it begins, you set a tone that colors every encounter. Life responds to your vibration as faithfully as an echo answers a voice. When you send out harmony, harmony returns. When you radiate calm assurance, circumstances arrange themselves to support it. The outer world cannot disobey the inner law, for both are expressions of the same divine intelligence. If you wish to know the condition of your inner world, look at the state of your outer affairs. Are they orderly, abundant, and peaceful, or are they confused and filled with delay? The outer is the mirror that reveals what needs correction within. This truth is not to bring blame but liberation, for it gives you the power to change your world by changing yourself. You no longer need to plead with people or circumstances. You simply harmonize your own vibration, and the outer picture must follow. Inner harmony is cultivated through attention, awareness, and discipline. You cannot allow your mind to wander into fear and expect to remain at peace. Each thought must be chosen deliberately, for thoughts are creative forces. When worry appears, replace it with the affirmation of divine supply. When anger rises, answer it with understanding. When impatience tempts you, remind yourself that divine timing is perfect. Each act of self-mastery brings the inner kingdom into greater order, and from that order flows outward prosperity. The truly prosperous person is not the one surrounded by wealth, but the one who feels wealth in every breath, who knows that supply is as constant as air. Such a person radiates confidence and peace. Their calm becomes magnetic. People are drawn to their energy. Opportunities seek them out. Resources gather around them as naturally as rivers flow to the sea. This is not chance. It is law responding to harmony. The universe cannot resist the vibration of peace, for peace is the language of divine order. Outer prosperity that is not supported by inner harmony soon crumbles. You may gain wealth through effort and cleverness, but if the mind is restless or fearful, that wealth will be fleeting. It may vanish through poor decisions, conflict, or unforeseen loss, because the vibration that created it was unstable. But when prosperity grows from harmony, it endures. It carries with it the fragrance of peace, the stability of divine blessing. It blesses all who touch it because it was born of right consciousness. To maintain inner harmony, you must also forgive. Nothing disrupts the flow of prosperity faster than resentment. When you hold anger or judgment against another, you block the current of divine supply, for you separate yourself from the universal good. Forgiveness restores the circulation of abundance. It clears the channels of the heart so that life can flow freely again. Each act of forgiveness is a declaration of faith that the universe is just and that all is unfolding in perfect order. Meditation, prayer, and silent reflection are powerful instruments of harmony. When you quiet the mind and turn inward, you touch the source from which all prosperity arises. In that silence, new ideas are born, solutions appear effortlessly, and the heavy burdens of worry dissolve. The still mind is the creative mind, for in stillness you align with divine intelligence, and divine intelligence knows no lack. The more often you enter that silence, the more your outer life will reflect its peace. Gratitude is another pathway to harmony. When you give thanks for what you already have, you tune yourself to the frequency of abundance. Gratitude is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It says to the universe, I recognize your goodness and I am ready for more. Each sincere expression of gratitude multiplies your blessings, for the law of increase responds to appreciation. A grateful heart is always prosperous, no matter the circumstances, because it sees abundance everywhere. When your inner state becomes peaceful and trusting, even simple actions are charged with power. A word spoken in harmony carries more influence than 1,000 words spoken in confusion. A plan made in faith succeeds where one made in fear collapses. Harmony infuses everything with a quiet potency that compels success. You no longer need to strive or force. You move through life with grace, and prosperity becomes your natural environment. There is a rhythm to the universe, a divine pulse that moves through all things. When you are in harmony within, you move with that rhythm. You are no longer pushing against the current but flowing with it. The obstacles that once seemed insurmountable dissolve because they were never real. They were projections of inner resistance. The moment resistance ends, the current carries you effortlessly toward your highest good. This is the mystery of inner harmony reflected as outer prosperity. It is the law of correspondence made visible. To live this truth requires continual awareness. Each day you must observe your inner weather. If storms arise, calm them before they spill into the outer world. If clouds of doubt gather, part them with affirmations of divine order. Keep your inner sky clear, and your outer horizon will always be bright. The universe is a perfect mirror. It gives back to you the image you hold within. When that image is one of harmony, peace, and trust, the reflection will always be abundance in every form. To speak words of command, not of need, is to recognize your divine authority in the realm of creation. The universe does not respond to pleading or fear. It responds to conviction, clarity, and faith. Every word carries vibration, and that vibration organizes the unseen substance of life. When you speak from doubt, you scatter energy. When you speak from certainty, you summon power. The one who knows their words are law does not beg for good, they declare it. This is the difference between one who lives under circumstance and one who commands circumstance to align with divine order. Words are creative instruments. They are not idle sounds floating in the air. They are spiritual forces shaping matter. Each word you utter is a decree sent forth into the invisible, gathering elements, events, and conditions to fulfill its pattern. When your words are filled with faith, they act as seeds of manifestation, taking root in the fertile soil of the universe. But when they are filled with fear or lack, they produce according to their kind, confusion, delay, and limitation. To command rather than to beg is to speak as a creator, knowing that what is declared in divine authority must come to pass. The act of command does not arise from arrogance but from alignment. You are not ordering the universe as a tyrant orders servants. You are affirming what divine law has already decreed as your rightful inheritance. You are reminding the unseen forces of what is already true in the eternal realm. The universe loves precision, and your words give it form. When you speak with authority, you are claiming your identity as a vessel of divine power, through which infinite intelligence expresses itself into visible results. Pleading comes from the belief that good is distant or uncertain. Command arises from the knowing that good is already present and waiting for recognition. To say, I need, is to confess separation. To say, I declare, is to affirm unity. The moment you shift from asking to declaring, you change your vibration. You move from the frequency of lack to the frequency of fulfillment. The universe, hearing this tone of assurance, rushes to mirror it in material form. To command rightly, you must first cleanse your language of doubt. Every casual word carries power, whether you mean it or not. If you say, I can't afford that, or things never work out for me, you are issuing decrees of limitation, and the law of expression obeys them without hesitation. The universe does not question your sincerity. It simply reflects your command. To master speech is to master creation. Therefore, guard every word as though it were a seed of destiny, because it is. When you speak words of command, you are not trying to convince an external force. You are aligning your conscious and subconscious minds to a single truth. Your subconscious is the soil that brings forth what the conscious mind plants. When you declare, "I am divinely provided for," and repeat it with conviction, that statement penetrates the deeper levels of your being, where it begins to take root. Soon, without visible cause, conditions begin to rearrange themselves to fulfill your decree. This is not magic, it is spiritual law in perfect operation. The words "I am" are the highest expression of creative power. Whatever follows them becomes your command to the universe. When you say, "I am abundant," you set abundance into motion. When you say, "I am afraid," you give fear dominion. The law does not differentiate between your conscious desires and unconscious affirmations. It fulfills both with equal precision. That is why the wise guard their speech carefully, speaking only those words that align with truth, beauty, and prosperity. True command is quiet and assured, never anxious or forceful. It carries the calm of divine certainty. A person who commands does not repeat words endlessly out of desperation. They speak once, with faith, and then rest in confidence that their word has gone forth to accomplish its purpose. To command is to release your desire into the hands of divine intelligence, trusting the invisible to perform the visible. There is no struggle in divine authority, only knowing. Every area of life can be transformed through words of command. Speak order into your affairs, peace into your relationships, and prosperity into your work. Say, "Divine order is established in my life now," and mean it. Say, "Every channel of supply is open," and believe it. Each statement of faith clears confusion and summons clarity. When you speak as one with divine law, your words carry the weight of universal power behind them. Words of need weaken the soul because they affirm lack. They tell the universe, "I do not have," and so the universe mirrors that back as continued want. But words of command affirm possession, declaring, "It is mine now." And in that affirmation lies the secret of manifestation. You are not trying to attract something foreign to you. You are calling forth what has always been yours in the spiritual realm. Your spoken word acts as the bridge between the invisible and the visible, pulling divine substance into form. To develop this power, begin each day with deliberate speech. Declare your world into order before the day begins. Say aloud, "This is a day of divine accomplishment. Every step I take is guided by infinite wisdom. Everything I do prospers." These words set the tone for your vibration. They instruct your subconscious mind to create experiences that align with your command. As you speak, feel the truth of your words vibrating through every cell of your being. The universe hears not just the sound of your voice, but the emotion behind it. When you face difficulties, resist the temptation to complain. Complaints are distorted commands that prolong disorder. Instead, declare the truth behind appearances. If lack confronts you, say, "Abundance is here and now manifesting." If fear whispers in your ear, say, "I am fearless, for divine love surrounds me." Each time you speak this way, you reclaim dominion over your world. The storm may rage for a moment, but your word is stronger than the storm, for it is anchored in divine law. There is immense creative power in affirmation spoken with feeling. Words without emotion are hollow. They carry little energy. But when your declaration rises from conviction, when every fiber of your being agrees with the truth you speak, the vibration becomes magnetic. It draws to you whatever corresponds to it. Speak as though the thing you desire were already accomplished, and the universe will make it so. Speak as though your prosperity were already complete, and soon the outer world will echo that sound in tangible form. To command effectively, you must also listen. After declaring your word, enter silence and feel its fulfillment. The stillness that follows command is as important as the command itself, for it allows the energy to settle into form. Doubt interrupts this process. The moment you question your decree, you cancel it. Therefore, once you have spoken, let your word stand. Move through your day with quiet confidence, knowing the universe is orchestrating the perfect outcome according to your command. The reason most people fail to see results is that they alternate between faith and fear. One moment they declare abundance, and the next they speak of lack. The universe cannot respond to divided command. To master your speech, you must maintain consistency of vibration. Every thought, every phrase must support your declared truth. Say, "All things are working together for my good," and refuse to contradict it. In time, this steady faith becomes a force that nothing can oppose. You were created to speak creation into being. This is your birthright and your responsibility. When you speak words of command, you awaken the divine within you. You cease to be a victim of conditions and become the master of them. You realize that speech is not merely communication, it is creation. Every word builds or destroys, blesses or binds. When you choose words that bless, affirm, and create, you align yourself with the original power that formed the heavens and the earth. The law of the spoken word is exact. It has no bias, no favoritism, no exceptions. It responds to belief. When you speak as one who knows, the universe listens and obeys. Therefore, never speak of failure, never speak of fear, never speak of limitation. Declare only what you wish to see manifested. Speak it once with certainty and let the invisible powers set themselves to work. Your word is your wand. It shapes your destiny in the image of your faith. Gratitude restores order and opens supply because it is the language of divine harmony. When you give thanks, even before the visible manifestation appears, you acknowledge the invisible abundance that already surrounds you. Gratitude is the vibration of completion. It tells the universe that you already possess the good you seek, and in that recognition, the unseen begins to take visible form. Every act of sincere gratitude sends out a signal of alignment with divine law, and that law responds by multiplying whatever is acknowledged. The ungrateful heart closes its doors to supply, but the grateful heart swings them wide open, inviting the current of prosperity to flow freely. Gratitude is not merely polite appreciation for things received. It is a spiritual recognition that all good flows from one source, and that this source never ceases to provide. When you live in this awareness, fear vanishes, for you no longer see lack as possible. Gratitude is faith made visible. It is the song of the soul that knows it is safe within divine order. To be grateful when blessings are evident is natural, but to be grateful before they appear is massive. That is the gratitude that transforms conditions, heals confusion, and restores perfect order to life. Each moment offers a choice: to complain about what seems missing or to give thanks for what is eternally present. Complaining anchors you in disorder, while gratitude raises your vibration to the level of divine supply. The universe cannot deliver abundance to a mind that dwells in resentment or comparison, for those emotions deny the existence of good. But when you give thanks for what already is, no matter how small, you align with the law of increase. What you appreciate expands, what you criticize contracts. Gratitude, therefore, is the golden key that unlocks the treasury of heaven. When you wake in the morning, the first words you speak shape the rhythm of your day. If you begin with gratitude, the tone is set for order, ease, and flow. You might say, "I am thankful for this new day, for the breath that fills me, for the opportunities prepared for me by divine intelligence." In that moment, you have already claimed harmony. Every event that follows will be drawn into alignment with that initial vibration. Gratitude establishes mental order, and mental order brings outer order. The law cannot fail. It must reflect the consciousness from which it is born. There is divine mathematics behind gratitude. Whatever you bless increases, and whatever you curse diminishes. When you bless your finances, even if they seem small, you send forth a command that abundance is recognized and welcomed. When you complain about bills or lack, you affirm disorder and repel supply. The universe mirrors your tone exactly. Gratitude says, I trust divine order. I know supply is endless. That trust magnetizes new channels of prosperity, unexpected opportunities, sudden favor, inspired ideas. These are not coincidences, but the natural response of law to thanksgiving. Gratitude restores order because it quiets the restless mind. The moment you give thanks, anxiety dissolves and peace returns. In that peace, clarity is born, and from clarity come right decisions. The disordered mind cannot perceive the solutions that are already present, but gratitude clears the fog of fear. It brings you back to center, where divine intelligence can guide you. The grateful person walks through life with serenity, knowing that every situation, no matter how it appears, carries a hidden blessing waiting to be revealed. When you give thanks for challenges, you transform them into stepping stones. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" you declare, "I am grateful for the wisdom this experience will reveal." That shift in perspective lifts you above the vibration of struggle and allows divine order to operate freely. The energy of resistance dissolves, and what once seemed an obstacle becomes a doorway. Gratitude does not deny the existence of difficulty. It redeems it by seeing divine purpose where others see disorder. To practice gratitude is to cultivate vision. The untrained eye sees only appearances, but gratitude sees beyond them to the perfect design beneath. When you say, "Thank you," even in the midst of uncertainty, you affirm that order is already working behind the scenes. You send forth faith in the power of the unseen, and the unseen answers in kind. In this way, gratitude becomes a creative force. It rearranges conditions to match the higher vision held in consciousness. The one who is thankful in advance commands miracles without effort. Gratitude opens supply because it aligns emotion with divine abundance. Emotion is energy, and gratitude is the purest form of that energy. When your heart is filled with appreciation, your vibration becomes magnetic, attracting to you people and situations that resonate with that joy. The merchant, the employer, the friend, the stranger, all respond subconsciously to the energy of gratitude. Opportunities arise seemingly out of nowhere because the thankful mind has become a beacon of light in a world often shadowed by complaint. To live in continual gratitude is to live in continual creation. Every breath, every heartbeat becomes a silent prayer of acknowledgement that life is good and that good is unfolding perfectly. When gratitude becomes your habitual state, you are never empty, for you see abundance in everything. A simple meal becomes a feast, a small coin becomes a token of infinite supply, a quiet moment becomes communion with divine order. This consciousness of plenty must externalize as plenty, for the law of correspondence cannot be broken. You may test this law in the smallest matters. If you lose something, instead of fretting, give thanks that divine order is restoring it. Soon you will find that what was lost returns, or that something better replaces it. If a bill arrives, instead of worrying, give thanks that divine supply meets every demand. You will notice that payment arrives easily, or that unexpected provision appears. These are not coincidences, but demonstrations of gratitude's power to open supply. The universe rushes to serve those who trust it enough to give thanks in advance. Gratitude is also a healer. It mends relationships, calms the nervous system, and transforms the atmosphere of any room. A grateful person radiates peace, and others feel it immediately. Conflict cannot survive in the presence of genuine appreciation. When you thank someone sincerely, you call forth the best in them. When you thank life for its lessons, those lessons lose their sting and become gifts. Gratitude restores balance wherever it is directed, because it is the vibration of divine love in action. Even nature responds to gratitude. Plants flourish when tended with appreciation. Homes feel lighter when filled with thanksgiving. The entire universe is alive, and it listens. When you express gratitude, you harmonize with that living intelligence. You say, through feeling and word, "I am one with the rhythm of creation." That acknowledgement places you in the flow of supply. Every need is met not by force, but by the effortless operation of divine law responding to your vibration of thanks. Gratitude requires awareness. for one cannot be thankful for what one does not notice. Therefore, practice seeing beauty in the ordinary, the sunlight on a wall, the sound of rain, the smile of a stranger. These simple recognitions tune your consciousness to the frequency of abundance. The more you notice to be thankful for, the more you will have. The law of expansion ensures that what is acknowledged multiplies. The person who lives in gratitude walks in a world of continual blessing, while the one who complains wanders through a desert of self-created lack. The practice of gratitude transforms the past and prepares the future. When you give thanks for experiences once considered painful, you release them from judgment and allow their hidden gifts to surface. When you give thanks in advance for what is yet to come, you create a magnetic field that draws future blessings toward you. Gratitude unites time into a single vibration of wholeness, past, present, and future all harmonized in divine order. In that wholeness, supply flows without obstruction. To restore order through gratitude is to remember that the universe is always for you, never against you. Nothing is withheld from the thankful heart. The moment you cease to struggle and begin to thank, the heavy doors of delay swing open and the current of abundance rushes in. Gratitude is the key that turns chaos into clarity, scarcity into sufficiency, confusion into peace. When the mind and heart are filled with appreciation, divine order finds clear expression in every area of life, and the flow of good becomes continuous and unbroken. Divine law acts swiftly when faith is firm, because faith is the bridge between thought and manifestation. It is the unwavering knowing that what is declared in divine truth must appear in form. When the mind is divided by doubt, the flow of power is interrupted. But when it stands steady in faith, the universe responds at once. Faith is not wishful thinking. It is the spiritual assurance that the invisible is as real as the visible. It is the confident recognition that divine intelligence governs all things, and that no delay exists in the realm of spirit. The moment faith is established, divine law sets itself in motion with precision and speed, bringing forth results that align with the vibration of certainty. To understand the swiftness of divine law, one must first recognize that time belongs to the material world, but faith operates beyond time. In the realm of spirit, everything already exists in perfection. Faith merely calls it into visibility. When you believe completely, without hesitation, you collapse the illusion of time and allow the unseen to become seen. Delay is not caused by divine reluctance, but by human hesitation. The universe does not postpone. It mirrors the strength of belief. Where faith is weak, results appear faint and slow. Where faith is strong, results appear clear and immediate. Faith is the magnetic current that directs divine energy into form. It is the unwavering command that says, "Let there be," and knows that it is so. This knowing releases creative forces that were already waiting for recognition. When you speak from faith, every atom in the universe hears and moves to fulfill your decree. The swift operation of divine law is not dependent on outer conditions, but on inner conviction. The more complete your faith, the faster the law can act, because it encounters no resistance. Doubt is resistance. Faith is flow. Firm faith is not shaken by appearances. It does not waver when outer evidence seems contrary. Appearances belong to the world of change, but divine law belongs to the world of permanence. Faith sees through the temporary shadow to the eternal reality beneath. When you hold your faith steady, appearances must eventually conform to it. You may not see immediate change in the visible, but the invisible adjustment begins the instant faith is established. The moment you believe, divine law begins its perfect work, arranging circumstances, shifting energies, and aligning all factors for the fulfillment of your word. To act in faith is to act as though the result were already complete. You move, speak, and decide from the consciousness of fulfillment, not from the illusion of waiting. This mental position accelerates manifestation, because the universe responds to identity. When you identify as one who already possesses, divine law confirms that identity by producing matching conditions. If you act from lack, you sustain lack. If you act from completion, you draw completion into form. The law cannot contradict itself. It mirrors your belief exactly. Faith cannot coexist with fear. Where fear lives, faith sleeps. Fear doubts the goodness of divine order and believes in separation. Faith knows that divine order is unbroken and ever working for good. The cultivation of firm faith, therefore, begins with the removal of fear. You replace every anxious thought with affirmation of divine certainty. You say, "There is only one power, and it is working for my highest good." As this truth becomes established within you, fear loses its hold, and faith becomes the ruling vibration. Once that vibration is dominant, divine law acts instantly. The speed of manifestation is always proportionate to the purity of belief. The more single-minded your faith, the less interference the law encounters. You cannot declare abundance while secretly fearing poverty and expect quick results. You must align thought, emotion, and expectation into one harmonious current. When the entire being agrees upon the truth, the creative process becomes immediate. The delay experienced by most people is simply the time required to achieve inner agreement. Once mind and heart are unified, manifestation follows with astonishing rapidity. Faith does not ask how or when, it simply knows that the law is at work and that the outcome is assured. When you begin to question the method or timing, you move out of faith and into reasoning, which belongs to the world of limitation. Divine law does not require human reasoning, it requires spiritual trust. The one who rests in faith releases all thought of process and allows divine intelligence to choose the perfect path of fulfillment. This surrender does not weaken your power, it multiplies it. Faith is the yielding of personal will to universal order, and that yielding allows the swiftest results. The reason divine law can act quickly under firm faith is that faith clears the channel through which energy flows. Imagine a stream blocked by debris, doubt, fear, impatience. The water struggles to move forward, but when the debris is cleared, the current rushes freely. Faith removes every obstruction. It creates a straight, open path between desire and manifestation. When the mind is steady, the divine current flows without interruption, bringing results in perfect sequence, often with a speed that seems miraculous. Firm faith is born from understanding. Blind belief may falter, but faith grounded in knowledge of divine law stands unmoved. You know that the law is exact, impartial, and immediate in its response to belief. You know that what you hold in consciousness must appear in experience. With this understanding, you no longer doubt the process. You do not wonder if it will happen. You know it already has. And that knowing accelerates its appearance. Faith and understanding together create the swiftest demonstration of divine order. To maintain firm faith, you must discipline the imagination. The images held in mind determine the pace of manifestation. If you imagine failure, you delay success. If you visualize completion with joy and certainty, you hasten it. The imagination is the workshop of divine law. It translates belief into pattern. Keep your vision clear and your emotions aligned with it. Feel the reality of the thing desired as though it were already present. This emotional conviction imprints the law with power, and the outer form responds quickly to that inner command. Faith is not passive waiting, it is active expectation. You expect good with the confidence of one who knows it cannot fail. This expectation generates a vibration that draws results with magnetic speed. The one who hopes timidly sends a weak signal. The one who expects firmly sends a powerful current that the universe cannot ignore. Expectation is faith in motion, and it carries divine energy forward like a river carrying all things in its flow. The law acts swiftly because the energy of expectation is direct, clear, and free from resistance. When faith is firm, the words you speak become immediate law. You no longer question whether your affirmations will work. You know they already have. Each declaration is charged with conviction, and conviction is the trigger that activates divine power. When you say, "This situation is now harmoniously resolved," and you feel the truth of it deeply, the universe begins to rearrange circumstances at once. It may appear subtle at first, a phone call, a meeting, a shift in attitude, but those are the first visible ripples of a law that has already fulfilled its command in the invisible. The swift action of divine law also depends on your emotional tone. Faith is not a cold assertion, it is a living feeling. The warmth of joy, gratitude, and peace amplifies its strength. When you believe with joy, you align with the rhythm of divine creation, which always moves through delight. The joy-filled belief carries more power than 1,000 anxious prayers, for joy is the natural expression of unity with divine order. When faith is joyous, the results are not only swift, but beautiful, unfolding with grace and ease. There is a silence beneath firm faith, a still confidence that needs no outward proof. In that stillness, the law works fastest because it encounters no interference from restless thought. The one who worries, checking constantly for results, slows the process, but the one who rests in the calm assurance of fulfillment allows the law to move unimpeded. Silence is the companion of faith. It is the atmosphere in which divine action takes place. To hold firm faith requires continual remembrance. You must remind yourself daily that divine law never sleeps, never hesitates, never fails. Each time doubt arises, replace it instantly with affirmation. It is already done. Divine order is working now. The repetition of truth strengthens faith until it becomes unshakable. Once faith reaches that level, the law no longer needs time to convince the mind. It acts at once, as effortlessly as light dispels darkness. Faith makes divine law instantaneously because it unites the human and the divine. It bridges the gap between desire and realization, thought and thing. When you believe without wavering, you stand in the timeless present where all possibilities already exist. In that state of knowing, creation is immediate. What you decree in faith becomes reality, not because time has passed, but because time ceases to be a factor. The law acts swiftly, because faith removes every illusion that could delay it, leaving only pure alignment between the soul's word and the universe's response.